What's going on, guys? This is Damien from the Lookout, and I am here with Latam top 16 decks. Yeah, we've just had the Latam event. You can check it on our Twitch. And yeah, look at this. There are some interesting choices here. Like, there is one very spicy one that we need to talk about. But before we dive into this video, huge shout out to the Coffee Club, our lovely patrons. These are our $2 and up patrons. They buy us coffee, they keep this crazy content grind going. And guys, thanks out for your support. If you wish to join the Coffee Club, link to your Patreon is in the description below. And I think that's about everything. Roll the video! As with all of our videos, let's start with a breakdown, or in this case, general info. This was an online event, once again organized by Latam TCG Events. Huge shout out to Latam TCG Events. We've been working together to bring these streams for like a year now. The guys are amazing. The entire staff, the TO, judges, everyone is absolutely amazing. 53 players in total. Best of one pre-side, and it was BT24 legal, of course. And before we dive into the breakdown, once again, huge shout out to everyone who had participated at the event. From the TO to judge staff to players, all of you are amazing. I hope you had a great time. And now let's just jump into the breakdown. Here we are, guys, with the top 16. Huge congratulations to everyone, and especially Herson, who won with green Gohan. Herson is the world's representative, and he just wins with green. And I love it. I love when people win with green. Then we have second place Federico with Apeku. Huge congrats, Federico. Similar to how Herson plays green, Federico plays Apeku. So yeah, it's cool to see Apeku. Apeku is... I believe that a lot of us have taken in the joke that Apeku is the Latam deck, because that's the only place where Apeku is just really always in the top 16, and it's so cool to see the deck is really good. Then third place, Blue Beerus. Yeah, Blue Beerus is slowly but surely climbing back into the meta after the energy marker was introduced and after Android 21 BT20 was severely crippled. Beerus is now climbing the ranks. So, third place, Blue Beerus. Speaking of Android 21, the better Android 21 deck, Expert 21, got fourth place. It's always cool to see this one, just because it is so exceptionally difficult to pilot it. That's why it's always cool to see this one topping. Then, fifth place, Yellow U7. Yellow has been really not good lately. It's been on the downside, but U7 is probably its best deck, and there are some very terrifying U7 decks roaming around. So congrats. Sixth place, the new black representative SS4 Vegito Zeno. Almost said Gogeta. This deck is pretty good. Like, this deck is just flat out very good black deck. Like, the deck is absolutely amazing. Safe pick if you wish to try out the color. And then you know what's not standard. Shroom and Salsa. Yeah, Shroom and Salsa, and not the good ones that you remember, like the BT12 ones. No, the BT18, the weird one that no one plays, got top 8. Shroom and Salsa got top 8. Massive congratulations. Then 8th place, Pan Reboot. I know Latam loves Pan Reboot, so I'm not too surprised here. Pan Reboot taking the 8th place. And before now we move on, let me just point this out. 8 different decks in the top 8. Again, 8 different decks in the top 8. This is so cool to see. Then we have 9th place, Apeku. 10th place, another Vegito Zeno. 11th place, U7. 13th place, Pan Reboot. 14th place, Blue Beerus. And 15th is one that we are not sure on. It's either Vegito or it is Beerus. It's one of those two. Now, I think that it is Vegito, just because the deck list has been doubled for 14th and 15th place, but I'm not sure. Officially it should be Beerus, but the deck list doesn't check out. Unofficially, from what I've heard, it's Vegito Zeno, but we don't have the deck list anyway, so it could be either one of them. And 16th place, Green Gohan. So that was the breakdown. Let's check out the decks. Okay guys, I am here once again with, of course, Deck Planet, the best deck builder in the world. Now for the Fusion World, Masters, One Piece, and Star Wars Unlimited very soon. So yeah, believe it or not, Star Wars Unlimited is also gonna have an actually amazing deck builder. Cannot wait for that to happen. Now, let's start with the first place, Erson's Green Gohan. Starting off, relatively lots of archetypes, but then like quickly shifting into a hand destruction deck. So 3 copies of Cell Kamehameha, 2 copies of this Latent Power Unleashed Gohan, which has been seeing more and more play lately. I hope you got your copies on time. This card has been very cheap until recently. I think it's one of the cards that got bought out the most. Like, it got bought out like 4 times until now, over the last like 2 years or a year. Then we have King Cold, because why not? You're running Gohan, pay 1, negate. Bursting Rage is the SCR. 2 copies, so the Unison split is a bit weird. We have 2 copies of Bardock, because Bardock is the best green Unison in the game. And we also have 2 copies of King Vegeta here. So Bardock disrupts Z energy charges. King Vegeta discards something on random, which is the best form of this card. And then we also have Metacooler Unison. Yeah, Metacooler Unison and Zamasu to help you deal with the big U7, big scary 6 cost, and some other big threatening boss monsters, the smaller ones, not the 8 costs. Then we have the Z deck, and finally the side deck. Then we have second place Federico's Apeco, the standard Apeco. Nothing has really changed here. Like, this deck looks like it has been the same forever. Just a bunch of barrier guys, a bunch of blockers. You draw a ton, you switch cards a lot to the rest mode. I'm trying to find something. 3 copies of Bulma, just upping Bulma up to 3, and then the rest is just old stuff. Like, there's nothing new here. We do have 2 copies of the Z Leader though, because Z Leader is pretty cool. Like, he's a critical guy, he's relatively big as well. 3 copies of Evolved Defender, 3 copies of the Z Extra, which is amazing in this deck. Hercule, and of course Oolong. And then we have the side deck with Emperor of Universe 7. Yeah, this card is really cool, especially if you can install into it. This card is absolutely amazing. Then we have third place, Blue Beerus. Okay, Blue Beerus making a return in Latam as well. 2 copies of Whis, because Whis just buys you another turn and it can just flat out win you the game. 2 Turning the Tides. I think we're gonna see more and more players seriously respecting Turning the Tide now. Like, you've always quietly respected it with the Jiren, but now I think that the threat of it is very real. Thwarting the enemy Vegeta counter to stop leaders from swinging multiple times. Gohan Baby's Minion. You don't usually see this one. Your opponent can't attack for the turn unless they choose 1 card from the hand and bottom deck it. So it's basically defending friends, just more expensive. Ready to Rumble, which can be very good in some decks. And then the rest is pretty standard. The only correct SCR is Baby Hatch, especially now that counter is gone. Baby Hatch. Then we have the Z deck and the side deck. This is interesting. If you let's say you may need 1 blue battle card cross on from your energy to your hand. If you do, choose 1 more. Okay, so it fixes your energy. During your opponent's turn, they can only attack 1 time with big. So it's semi-floodgate. That's cool. Then 4th place, Android 21. Just Android 21. Like, that's it. The standard copy-paste Android 21. Don't fix what isn't broken. The Z deck and the side deck. Then we have U7 running 3 copies of the Emperor. Yeah, yellow is in this like semi-weird state where it can actually go to 7 energy. It can stall enough to go to 7 energy, and then it can play the Emperor. And if you play the Emperor, your opponent just kind of folds then. So other than that, we have Victory Strike SCR here. Okay, that's very cool. We have this Frieza. You see, you don't really stall until 7. You go into this Frieza, and then you just play Emperor on top of it. Because this is a 5-cost Frieza who is Universe 7, and the Emperor evolves for 1 energy on top of him. So, you can play him for 4. So, on 5 energy, you go into the Emperor. And Robotic Riposte actually making a return. Okay, Robotic Riposte making a return. We will see, but no Bardock Floodgate here. That's an interesting choice. And then we have the Z deck. Then we have Vegito. Okay, SS4 Vegito. The one very standout thing is this guy. Okay, so it plays 2 skillless. So it gets you your Vegeta out, and it gets you your Goku so that you can have Union Fusion pieces. So you want to see, I guess you want to see your Union Fusion pieces as fast as possible, which is why you run this, because other than that you just run the Z Unison. And speaking of the devil, we have the 3 copies of the Z Unison here, and then we have the side deck. 7th place, Shroom and Salsa. Can't say much about this one. I haven't really played it a lot. What I know is that you just combo a lot and you play cards from your warp. So, yeah, that's the extent of my Shroom and Salsa knowledge, everyone. I know I should learn it more, especially if it's making some sort of a comeback. But we see some new cards here, 4 copies of the counterplay, because why not? The card is absolutely amazing, and it gives plus 5k for the turn. It beats your leader. 4 copies of Cumber, because Cumber just warps anything ignoring barrier, just removes anything in the game. That's absurdly strong. And then the rest is just like Shroom and Salsa package. And then we have the Z deck running 3 copies of the Unison, because you need the Unison for the 5-drop. And of course the big Z leader. Then we have 8th place Pen Reboot. Standard Pen Reboot, nothing new in it. The only spicy take that I can see are these Gohans. So 2 Beast Gohans. Okay, you pay him for 2 energy, play this, then choose 1 card and give it minus 30, and then the rest doesn't matter, because it's special beam cannon things. But it's pretty K dual attacker which removes something. That's pretty okay. The rest is just standard pen things, plus 2 copies of the Z Unison. Okay, so first time I'm seeing the Z Unison in the side deck, like this red one. Not sure has it seen any play, because paying 4 for it is not super optimal though. Then we have 9th place Oscar's Apeku. Again, it is Apeku, though it has some interesting inclusions. The SER is Golden Cooler, that's very cool. 4 copies of Bardock, 1 of these Keflas. Because what this Kefla does, and I think if you're afraid of U7, you should be running this Kefla. If I believe correctly, at the end of the battle, when this card is used combo from hand, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode and place it at the bottom of the deck. This stops U7. Even if they do the Perunga combo, this just shuts them down, because it gets rid of the 6 cost. So that is a way to fight it. Then we have 2 copies, speaking of the devil, 2 copies of the 6 cost, because like why not? Like the card is amazing. 2 copies of Absolute Annihilation, Pan at 2. This is interesting because we don't usually see this Pan, it's just cute barrier removal, and 1 of these Gohans. Because if you have Pan, then he gains double strike barrier, which is very, very solid. 3 copies of Sin. and going with all 4 copies of Metacooler. Okay, here is the Z deck. No Z leader, just Hercule, 3 copies of the Goku Kamehameha, and then it's just good stuff. So, then we go to, well, I guess SS4 Vegito. Checking it out very briefly, standard SS4 Vegito. Kraken Spacetime can actually win you games as a surprise factor. And if you're running Vegito, you are playing SS4 Call, because it just gets you 2 cards. It can get you 2 cards. It looks for cards with SS4 in their name, and you can get 2 of them. That's amazing. And then here is the Z deck and the side deck. 11th place, U7. Running the promo. We don't usually see the promo anymore. It's okay, it gets rid of something. Then running Universe at Stake. Universe at Stake is a pretty cool card. You just need to make sure that everything is in rest mode. So it can be a bit tricky when you have the Z extra out, but if you don't have it, you just Universe at Stake your opponent. And 1 copy of SSB Vegeta, because SSB Vegeta gives like minus 60 in total for free energy. It's insane. And why you run Universe at Stake? Because you run your number 1 so that you can play it from your deck, and then it gets triple dual attack. Okay, and then we have one of the new Z Unisons. We don't have a single Unison here, so the Z Unison is basically pay 4 and then just clear the board. And then we have a very, very rainbow-ish side deck. Then we have 12th place, another SS4 Vegito. The standouts here are okay. There is the counter. There is the counter, but it doesn't work here. So it's just another Overwhelm card, which helps you draw. Because your leader needs to be a Black Supreme Kai for the counter to work. How did we call it? Bolchinian. Yes, the Bolchinian ape. The SCR that can just steal games, because you can just say like, I'm not taking damage. And of course, SS4 Gogeta thwarting the Dark Empire. We don't see this one like almost at all anymore, but it is a pretty good card. You can play him for 4 because you have all of the targets that you need. It can steal you some games. And then here is the rest. Then we have another pen reboot. There is 1 spicy inclusion in this one, and that is this, the new Beerus boss monster. Because when you play a red deck, your opponent can't attack until the end of your you choose one of your opponent's battle cards or later cards, and it can't attack until the end of your opponent's turn, which is pretty cool. If you have yellow, then you just remove something ignoring barrier, but you don't have yellow, you just have red here. Main decking Black Smoke, like really respecting the Z Unisons. And then we have the Z deck and the side deck. Then 14th place, Blue Beerus, running Tragedy Overground. And I really like this one. I think this is really cool, because you're sooner gonna ramp to 9 than to 16, and you can just flat out win the game with Tragedy when you do so. So like going very hard into ramp. There is Whis as well. Of course, Baby Hatch is the SCR. Even 2 copies of Son Goku the Unstoppable and 2 copies of the SS4 Unison. Yeah, the deck is really just ramp. Don't necessarily look to win at 16 energy. Just remove stuff and survive. Just find alternative win conditions to close out the game. And then we have the Z deck and the side deck. And finally, we have 16th place Green Gohan, which is an engine that we haven't seen in a while. And that is the Frieza engine. So this one is super hand destruction. Running Surprise Attack Frieza, who's a crit attacker for free. Then running Parasitic Ball, and then you play Frieza Zeno over it, and then your opponent discards a card. And then running Toba, because Toba is the best Overwhelm card in a hand destruction deck. 3 copies of Cooler. I don't really like Cooler, but obviously it worked here. The SER of choice is Bursting Rage. And then we have the Z deck and the side deck. So yeah, those were the deck lists. That's it for the video. Let me know in the comments below. What's your opinion on the Latam breakdown? Guys, the BT24 competitive season is in full swing and we just keep getting these super diverse breakdowns. Like, if you just boil it down to top 8, like I've said, it's 8 different decks. Again, in top 8. And some of these aren't even repeats, if you look at other events. So yeah, I think the Masters meta has never been better than it is right now, and it's super exciting to see. But anyways, let me know what you think. Let me know in the comments below. I read all of your comments and try to respond to everything. I love our little community. And while you're here, hit those like and subscribe buttons. Help us get to, and I can't believe that I'm about to say this, 6,000 subscribers. We're gonna give away a booster box. This has been Damien from The Lookout, and I'll see all of you in the next video.